Welcome to The Explainer. So, we've got a really fascinating story of global strategy to unpack today. You see, Europe's putting up this massive financial wall to slow down Chinese electric cars. But instead of trying to climb it, these companies are doing something way smarter. They're building a giant springboard in Thailand to leap right over it. Let's get into exactly how this incredible plan works. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the wall Europe built. Then, we'll check out the perfect escape route that Thailand is offering. After that, we'll dive into the simple, clever math that makes this whole thing possible. We'll even see how it plays out with a real car on the streets of Germany. And finally, we'll zoom out and see what this all means for the future of global business. All right, so it all kicks off with this major roadblock. The European Union decided pretty decisively to make it more expensive for Chinese EVs to enter the market. And just like that, a huge hurdle appeared for brands that were planning a big push into Europe. But here's the really interesting part. This isn't just some simple, clumsy wall. Oh no, the EU got incredibly specific, creating this complex system that hits different companies in totally different ways. It's less of a blunt wall and more like a strategic filter. And you can see that variation right here. This is the key. It's not one single number. BYD, they get hit with a 27% tariff. Geely, a little higher. But then you get to SAIC, and wow, they're facing a staggering 45.3% barrier. This creates this intense, targeted pressure on certain companies to find a way around it, and find it fast. You know, this really highlights the huge difference in strategy. While the United States basically took a sledgehammer to the problem, a flat 100% tariff on every single Chinese EV, the EU is using a scalpel. It's a much more calculated move, designed to apply very, very precise pressure. So just as Europe was busy building its complicated tariff wall, another country was literally rolling out the red carpet. Thailand looked at this complex problem and saw a golden opportunity to become the perfect solution. Now, this isn't just some happy accident. It's all part of Thailand's super ambitious national strategy, which they call 30 at 30. And the goal is crystal clear. They want to become a major hub for EV production by making sure that nearly a third of all cars made in the country are zero emission by 2030. And to make this dream a reality, Thailand put together a welcome package that is pretty much impossible to refuse. We're talking reduced import duties, slashing consumer taxes from 8% down to just 2%, handing out cash subsidies, and even offering tax holidays for up to 8 years. It's a full-on charm offensive to get that investment. But of all those perks, this is the masterstroke. It's this rule right here. By giving companies extra credit for exports, Thailand is sending a flashing signal that says, hey, we don't just want you to build cars for us. We want you to use us as your launchpad to take on the world. Okay, so how does this all work financially? This is where the strategy goes from just clever to truly brilliant. And it all boils down to some simple but incredibly powerful math. This whole strategy actually has a name. It's called tariff arbitrage. It's a classic business playbook, right? If one place gets too expensive because of taxes, you just shift your production somewhere else where the taxes are lower. It's a simple concept, but the financial impact is absolutely massive. And here it is. This is the big aha moment, all laid out in one table. If a company like BYD ships a car straight from China, they're paying the standard 10% tariff plus that new 17% anti-subsidy tariff. That's a total of 27%. But by doing the final assembly for that same car in Thailand, that 17% tariff just vanishes. They only pay the standard 10%. That's a 17 percentage point saving on every single car. But the long-term play here, the real prize, is even bigger. You see, the EU and Thailand are working on a free trade deal right now. If that deal gets signed, that last 10% tariff could drop all the way to zero. Now that would be an absolute game changer for any company smart enough to set up shop in Thailand early. Okay, so let's bring this down from the clouds of theory to the asphalt of reality. We're going to look at one specific car, the BYD Dolphin, in one of Europe's toughest markets, Germany. So here we have it, the BYD Dolphin going toe-to-toe with Germany's own Volkswagen ID.3. And just look at the specs. They have almost the exact same range, very similar batteries, but the starting price, that's where BYD comes in with a huge advantage. Thousands of euros cheaper, even before VW started offering deep discounts just to keep up. So that 17% tariff saving we just talked about, on a car like the Dolphin, it translates directly into this number, about 3,400 euros saved on every single vehicle. That is the secret weapon that lets them be so aggressive on price. And this is so important to understand. It's not just about being cheaper. It's about creating what we can call a profit shield. Think about it. While Volkswagen is being forced into a brutal price war, maybe even selling cars at a loss just to protect its home turf, BYD can match their price cuts and, because of those tariff savings, still make a healthy profit. Okay, let's zoom out one last time. Because what we're watching unfold here isn't just a clever maneuver in the car industry. This could be the new playbook for how you do business in our modern, complex world. I mean, when you really break it down, it's a masterclass. In one move, you evade tariffs, you protect your profits, you lower your production costs because of Thailand's labor market, and you lower your geopolitical risk by swapping a Made in China sticker for a more neutral Made in Thailand one. It's this incredibly sophisticated hybrid model. You keep the really high-value, high-tech stuff, the heart and brain of the car like the advanced battery and the electronics, in China, where the supply chain is second to none. Then you ship those core components to Thailand for the final, more labor-intensive assembly. You're optimizing for both tech and cost at the same time. All of this really leads us to a final, really big question. Are we actually watching the birth of globalization 2.0? In a world that seems to be getting more fractured, with more and more trade walls going up, this springboard strategy might just be the new global playbook for how multinational companies not only survive, but actually thrive.